Hey, yo, if you're anything like me, you want to know about these prospects in the 2025 NFL draft. We got something for you tonight. Let's get it cracking. Yo, 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 no maniacs, super no maniacs, everybody, welcome in to another edition of All Eyes on Future Bears. I'm flying solo tonight. Starting to get a little used to it, man, because my guy FFG, shout out to FFG, he's got a job promotion and they getting their money's worth out of my man. And FFG, man, I'm telling you, God bless him. That's a funny guy, man. He's interesting. And a little bit of backstory. I know he won't mind me saying this, but every time I see FFG or talk to him, man, he's always chipper. He's always, upbeat and really wants to talk about football like every single time, even when I don't want to talk about it because I'm getting burnt out on the stuff. But he's funny that way. And so the last time I talked to him, so what I normally do before one of these shows happens is I probably itemize probably about 30, 40 football players, and I'll break them down to however many we decide to do on that show. I'll do the tape on them. And then probably a day before, sometimes a day of, I'll get FFG in the studio and let him look at the players that I scouted out. And he'll go do his research on it. And then by the time we get to the show, he's got his takes on it. And so normally he's so jipper all the time, man, and it's just hilarious. Seeing him in the green room last time, was it yesterday? Had him in the green room and he was yawning and tired, and I was just like, "What's going on with you?" And he's normally has everything in the world to talk about, but that day he was just tired, man. You could see it on him. But yeah, God bless FFG, man. I'm sure he wants to be here and do the show, but it's all good, man. He got a promotion and they're getting his money worth done. He's like, hey, get out to the rock pile. I need you to get to work. And so that's what it is, man. I don't see anybody in the chat yet. I see about 20 people watching the show. And so right off the top, let me before we get into the players and start talking about that. See, my first guy just jumped up in here. My man Christopher House says, keep grinding, Nomad, on your hustle. He said, second to none. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna do just that, man. I got a lot coming moving forward, man. You think we hustling now? You just wait, man. We're gonna give you guys more and more content. We're gonna thank you guys, all these new subscribers and all the new people supporting us, new Super No Maniacs grabbing memberships. We're gonna pay it forward, man. We're gonna give you guys content. You'll see that moving forward. But let me talk about the appreciate you, Chris. Let me talk about the news I heard right before coming on here and doing this show. And I was surprised. I thought it was like on Twitter. Sometimes you don't know exactly what to believe. And I got on Twitter to respond to a message. I messaged somebody a couple of days ago and forgot that I did it. And I went on Twitter to see if he responded to me, and I had to respond to him. And and I looked on there and I saw that people were saying that 670 the scores, Dan Bernstein got fired. I was like, nah, it can't be right. And so I'm scrolling down. I hate Twitter. I don't like social media, really, to be honest with you. But I do what I need to do for the situation. And if I gotta tolerate Twitter for a little bit, so be it. I get on there and I'm just scrolling, trying to see what I can find on the guy. And I'm seeing little stories, and I'm like, okay, scared to kind of click on links and stuff like that. So I just Googled him, and sure enough, he got fired for something regarding some kind of social media spat. I'm imagining it happened on Twitter, some kind of social media spat. So it read something like the guy went fishing or something, caught a fish, and whatever happened past that, it was like somebody insinuated that he's not following the rules and the guidelines, and when you catch a fish, throw that thing back in there, whatever it was. But apparently, from the looks of that article, it looked like Bernstein responded to him in a not so kind way. And it read like, sounded like doxing was going on, man. Like he threatened to, expose this person's address. That's what doxing is. Expose this person's address and involve something about the children too. I don't know the whole story now. I'm just paraphrasing what I heard. I'm not saying exactly, I don't know what happened. But wow, I was just like, and that was real. I thought it was straight up hoax. And there's been a lot of people. I don't know, for whatever reason, they don't like that guy. I don't know where, I didn't even know exactly who Dan Bernstein was by name. I just so happened to Google him, and then, okay, that guy from 670 to Score. I'm like, okay, that's who he is. And I'm just like, hold on, that old man's been on that show for what? I don't know how long. But I know I don't watch that show really that much. But it's like, what happened here? What the hell happened here? If he really said that, that's foul. And I think you suspend somebody for that. But to fire him, that probably is something personal going on between him and whoever the executive producer of the show is. Because I don't know that warrants somebody getting fired from their job. You know what I mean? But it's bad enough. You can't be threatening to expose nobody's kids and doing all that kind of stuff. That stuff's dangerous. That's very dangerous. You can't be doing stuff like that. I have people trying to do little stuff to they thought they had my name and my LLC name and all that kind of stuff. They don't know how black people roll. Black people put everything in somebody else's name. So somebody thought they was getting away with murder by exposing the name of my LLC to the company. And I'm just like, why? But anyway, back to Dan Bernstein. Let me get to a couple of comments in here. Let me see. B Shep in here. Shout out to B Shep, Christopher House. Vic Perez just jumped up in here. Let me see. Yeah, you got to be ready with that mic, B Shep. I'm ready. Man, dude, I do this. We do this over here, man. This is the community, man. This is what I love to do. I love getting in here and chopping it up with you guys, talking about football, talking about Bears and these players. This is easy. This is like easy. The hard work is watching all that damn tape and getting to the show. So this is like, you can crack one and kind of relax and talk about football. But yeah, man, but back to Bernstein. So something, when I seen it, that it was a real story, I started thinking about something my uncle told me a long, long, long time ago. He's like, man, when you winning, it's like, thing about winning, man, you up there and everybody wants to try to knock you down, man. So he basically told me, he said these words to me. He said, everybody's going to be trying to whoop you for your cool. I was like, why? He's just like, man, it's a lot of people in this world that are not like you. They want to see you fail. And so that's their satisfaction. And so I'm not saying that whoever it was that was in the disagreement with Bernstein, that's their intention. But, in this world, man, you got to know that when people think you got something going on and they think you're shining and they think you got a powerful presence, and it's always going to be people lurking in the shadows trying to get you down, trying to get you down to their level. They'll try to whoop you for your cool. And so your goal has to be, I'm going to maintain my position and I'm not going to let no sucker, Pee-wee try to bring me down, because that's where he is. But, I'm not going to say that was foul. If Dan Bernstein actually did that, that's foul. Very, very foul. And I just don't know that it rose to the level of, firing somebody. I don't know, but I don't want to see anybody lose their job. Who knows? For all we know, Dan Bernstein was working on retirement and pension or something like that, and he got that, cut out from under him. So for that reason, I don't know exactly his situation, but hopefully the guy lands on his feet. He knows better not to do something like that moving forward. But man, that was crazy. I don't know how long that guy's been on the air at that channel, but it had to be pretty rough getting that news. But man, you know what? Let me see, what else can we be talking about right now? So I'm starting to sense. I don't even think I can say the word sense. I'm seeing the fact that everybody is at war over what to do with this 10th pick. And I'm talking about everybody, meaning the fan base, all of us, and all the people that are watching and waiting to see what the Bears do at 10. And you got the Ashton Genty crowd out there. You got your Tyler Warren crowd out there. That seems to be where everybody is landing at. Those are the two players that everybody seems to be bickering and fussing and fighting over whether to get a guy at those spots. What up, Smitty Q, just busted up in here? What's going on? Here's my thing about the 10th pick and about Ashton Genty and about Tyler Warren. The thing is, I'm reading the chat too while I'm trying to talk. I'll get to some of the chat. The thing is about the number 10 pick. it really is about, where you, if like for somebody like me who's studying this entire draft and really, really being thorough about it, like for me, it might be different, to the next casual fan that's not really putting in the work like I am and looking at the entire draft. So they see Ashton Genty, they see Tyler Warren, they see the highlights, and they're like, hell yeah, let's get him. Let's get him. We need to get that guy. And so I understand where they're coming from for most of them. And then there's other people, that really have studied the tape and still land that Ashton Genty or Tyler Warren should be the guy. Let me be clear about this. Number one, I don't know how I come across on the show sometimes, and when I'm talking about the number 10 pick, and I don't know that we should grab Ashton Genty there. Do we have to? I don't think so. But it's not because I don't think he's a good player. Man, that dude's a dog. Number one, let's get that out the way right now. He's the real deal. He is the real deal. And it's for me, it's about, do we have to get a skilled player right there at 10? We did that last year at the chagrin of our offensive line. We've done good work in getting that interior of that offensive line together. It's solid, but we still need a couple of pieces. We still need a couple of pieces, and we need depth. We still need a couple of pieces there, or at least a piece. And I think, to me, the highest value at 10, and this is just my opinion, the way I've seen the entire draft and how it kind of sets up. To me, the best thing the Bears could do is get somebody in the trenches with that first pick. If they're going to make that pick, in my opinion, you get somebody in the trenches. You get you a tackle, or you get you an impact edge rusher. In my opinion, that's what you do. There's a slew of running backs later on. There's a slew of tight ends later on. And God bless the people that want to get those two particular players. I won't be mad, just for the record, if we get either one of those two guys. I will not be mad. But I'm just saying, personally, I don't see the need to do that early. I do think they are game-changing players, but I see some other game-changing players. As a matter of fact, at tight end, I've been pounding the table about Jalen Conyers at Texas Tech for some time now. Put out a couple of videos and shorts on him. And also, by the way, we got a couple more Texas Tech Red Raiders coming up on the show tonight. So they had some pretty, I wouldn't say they had a good team, but I think they had some great individual players on that team. We'll cover a couple of them here tonight. But yeah, I just, let me get to a couple people in the chat, see what everybody's talking about. Let me see. B Shep 23 says, crazy. This year, nobody knows who we're going to draft. The Bears don't even know. I think they're still doing due diligence, man. I think they are, man. I heard a report from Brad Biggs talking about, I'm trying to remember what the words were, but he kind of said something like, the Bears won't be, kind of itchy to feel like it's necessary to draft Ashton Genty for, at the 10th pick. They don't feel like they have to do that there. They feel good about the rest of the running back draft. And, I don't know how much, I take it for face value. As Brad Biggs, he's around the organization. He's around Hallis Hall, so you take it for what it's worth. I take it for face value. I assume that somebody's telling him something. I just assume. I don't know that for a fact. I just assume that someone's telling him something. And, that really aligns with what the way I see the draft is. You can get Ashton Genty. Yeah, you can improve your team with that guy. No doubt about it. He's the real deal. But do you have to get a running back right there? Is he that one guy that's going to change the fortunes of the Chicago Bears? I don't think there's a back in the draft that will do that. You got to get some other pieces. And to me, you did yeoman's work in free agency in the trenches. I think you continue that. Keep layering on the talent. And by the time it's said and done, you've got that you fortified that front on both sides of the ball. And now you're starting to get into the conversation when you start gelling those pieces together. I'm talking about once you start gelling them together. Once you start gelling all of those pieces together, now you got rotation. You got a first team and a second team that can come in there, and you really don't have a strong setback. That's what I look forward to. And so, I was one of those people last year that was upset with the 4th pick when we drafted a punter. Not because the guy's he's a great punter. But did we really need that at that moment? There's a lot of people that argue over whether or not we should have drafted Rome Odunze at that moment. I love Rome Odunze, but I don't think we needed to draft him at that moment. That's just me, though. That's just me. You guys might have felt differently about it. Either way, I think the emphasis on getting these trenches right, I think that part is what we shouldn't overlook. I think they are serious about getting these trenches together on both sides of the ball. And I think their intention is to make sure that when they come out of this draft, they're fortified there. I do think they're going to get a couple skilled players, whether it be running back, slot receiver, maybe even getting Dennis Allen, his linebacker, because I don't think, if you've seen that video I made earlier about getting salty players, I don't know that, the linebackers we have in the building, past next year are going to be here. And so, I think about all of that kind of stuff. And so that's what I think. To me, that's what I think. I watched the Super Bowl and I watched the playoffs, and it was pretty clear to me who the dominant teams were. And those were the teams that were dominant in the trenches. They got it right in the trenches. We need to get it right in the trenches. All these sexy picks, man, we probably shouldn't have too many of those this year. Just being honest with you, I don't think we should have very many sexy picks. Dirty, ugly, just hog picks, big dogs that just come in there and disruptive on both sides of the ball, in my opinion. That's where I think we should be. But let me get to a couple of comments in here. Let me see. What up, Derek? Derek, my boy, just bust up in here. Super No Maniac. Smitty Q said he's leaning towards Kelvin Banks Jr. Like that player. Vizzo Joe just busted up in here. What up, man? Yeah, man. In them trenches, man, we got to do that. And I think you're talking about Ashton Genty. We'll see what they do, man. I like the fact that they don't feel like they're in a particular need spot to get a running back, particularly at 10. I feel like there's so many running backs I love in this draft. You guys heard about them all. Let me see. Yeah, Brad Biggs with the inside scoop. Derek Guy says, I'm gonna say it again. We need a speed edge rusher that will give us a variety of pass rushers. I'm starting to lean there. I've already been leaning there, Derek. And the only reservation I have about it is because I haven't seen it yet with Dennis Allen. I just haven't seen it yet. But I know, looking at this roster, it has to be a temptation, Derek. It has to be. You've got big guys on the front, man. The edge rushers are big. And now you need somebody that can come in there on third down and get you off the field. For sure. Because I do believe 110% that Dio Odengbo he's going to probably see most of his reps from the inside. I wouldn't say most of them, but it's probably going to be about split. And so there's going to be times where he's kicked inside. Who's going to be the other edge rusher to get you off the field? Daniel Hardy? Dominique Robinson? Who is it? Austin Booker? If he takes a step up, that would be a positive sign right there. I'm not saying that he was bad last year, but he was just, let me just say, impactful in flashes. And it was just the NFL play strength, the professionalism. These guys get paid to stop you from getting to the quarterback, and they're good at it. And so, I do have high hopes. I'm still very high on Austin Booker, but I do think you do need that. To your point, Derek, I'm really close to being tipped over the edge of saying to myself, man, we might need a Mike Green type of guy. We might. They might actually go for a guy like that. I don't know if it's Mike Green. It could be Nick Scorton. It could be a whole bunch of other dudes that I think can bring that to the table. Like I told you, later on down in the draft, Antoine Powell-Ryland from Virginia Tech, same kind of guy. I was real close to doing Derek. I was real close to doing a video because I'm hearing stuff about character concerns about Mike Green. And I start, y'all know I'm pro player, man. Y'all know I'm pro player, and I'm prone to defending football players, especially a college football player, because I relate to that so well. and being a popular college football player. What does that mean? That means that every girl on the campus, for whatever reason, wants a piece of you. And what comes with that, I had to learn. I had to learn to negotiate those situations. And it wasn't like there was never any situation where you had to be aggressive about, getting after female. There was too many of them. There's too many of them coming after you. And so every time I hear stories about, college players, high school players getting, charged with essay and all that kind of stuff, man, I get kind of defensive because I tend not to believe it. I think sometimes, and I've seen this happen multiple times, not saying it happened to me, but lots of my friends, a few of them have had situations where I've been in the room and watched the interactions. And, they went to a room and they did their thing. And before you know it, he might not have treated her with the most respect in the world afterwards. And, didn't think too much of it. It's on to the next one. That's how college players are. And then the next day, it's a whole thing. It's like, what happened? That chick was fine when she was in here. But that's the kind of stuff that happens with a college player. And I was going to make a video talking about how we shouldn't be so quick to jump to conclusions about, seems like, you don't hear anything about these things until it's time for a player to get drafted. And, it might be a valid concern. It might be some truth to some of that stuff. And I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody that accuse him of anything. But I do know what it's like to be in college and being popular and have a bunch of girls throwing it at you. It's a thing, man. You got to learn how to handle that. If you ain't been taught properly, or you ain't seen it done in the right way, you won't know what to do. You might not handle it right, and you could end up with some accusations. So let me get to a couple of comments here before we get started. Vizzo Joe says, Nomad, Raiders could pass on Genty due to the OC Chip Kelly, who he may want one of his former backs from Ohio State. I wonder how much say in that part of it Chip Kelly would even have. He's been a coach before. I don't know about Chip Kelly. I know he's a great schemer and a designer. He's one of the best in football on designing and scheming up game plans with the offense that he runs. But I don't know how much they're going to listen to him in the draft room. But who knows? He might have some juice in there, Vizzo. I don't know. He could. Let me get to some more comments. Flex Diggs says he won't be mad if we went DN or DT with the first two picks. I'm never going to be mad at a defensive pick ever. I'm all defense, dog. All defense. I believe in that 100% in my soul. That's how you win championships. I hear you, Chris House. He says, I still have faith in Austin Booker if he can gain at least 10, 15, 20 pounds. Yes, sir. Let me see, Mike. Vizzo says Mike Green had accusations, but case was dropped. So who knows, man? The case was dropped. I don't know. I would just say this. You tend to want to believe the accusers. You tend to want to believe them and try to support those people because you just don't know what happened. You weren't in the room, and I'm gonna lean always towards trying to support an accuser. But I'm also an ex-football player, and I've been through that life, and I know what it's like, man. He can't everywhere he goes, you got women trying to come at him, and sometimes you take one on, man, or two, or however many, and it might not go down exactly the way she had it planned. She probably thought that she was going to be, booed up with him, and he didn't treat her like that. He was just like, hey, I'll holler at you later on. See you. And she got treated like that and then catch feelings. And I have experienced that, and I had to go and talk to a few ladies after that, but I had to let them know it ain't nothing personal, But then if you don't do that and you just let her get to the win, ain't gonna tell them how that story's gonna come out on the other side. So that's really how I think. I'm imagining that's probably what happened. Let me see. Yes, sir. Derek, every year, an unknown source always coming up with negative stories about a player that's being drafted in the first round. Every single year. Every single year. What up, Joseph? Just busted up in this piece. Let me see. Vic Perez says, based on our free agent activity, I'm not going to be mad at the eventual picks. might be disappointed, but not mad. It's no need to get mad. You know, that's just being level-headed about it. It might not be. I was just talking to kids about that. What was it? On some extra sauce the other day, and you guys were there. And I was just like, kids, I can tell right now if we don't draft Ashton Genty, if he's here, you're just not going to be a happy camper. You're going to be all messed up, and he's going to be turning over tables. And he couldn't deny it. I know how kids is, man. People get it. They get wrapped up into a player because they just believe this player could change our fortunes. He's a great player, but is that exactly what we need at that spot? I don't know if that's the case. I think we need somebody in the trenches, in my opinion. And later on, we get a draft. Now, if he slides, out the first round or something like that, which I seriously doubt that happens, into 31, whatever our next pick is, then you consider that strongly. But at 10, it's too many talented trench guys, man. It's just way too many, and you're deficient in the trenches. It's just way too many. But that's my thoughts. Y'all want to get to some football players? Let's get it cranking, man. Get a guy up here. Give me a second. Where are we? Hold on. Doing it all by myself again, y'all. All right, so here we go. We got Eugene Asante from Auburn, 6'1", 219 pounds. And y'all keep the comments coming. I'll get to as many as I can. 6'1", 219 pounds out of Auburn. I don't know how many of you guys got to watch the Senior Bowl or Senior Bowl practices, but he was there. So I was checking Eugene Asante out for some time, and I really, really like his motor. He is always around the ball, and I love football players that are always around the ball. And let me get to his, he is a defensive general, ultimate competitor, and an elite trigger to the ball. What do I mean by an elite trigger to the ball? He sees it, gets to the ball, closes space, and he makes the play. Really, really fast. That is elite. That's an elite trait about him. But my comp for him, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Denzel Perryman. That's a guy that Denzel Perryman is about the same size, maybe a little bit shorter, somewhere around the same size, and probably about another 10 pounds bigger than him, but somewhere in the neighborhood of Eugene Asante. But let me tell you some little notes about him. It's not anything to write home about. Quick, twitchy, very good as a blitzer. That you will see that show up on tape often when you're watching Eugene Asante, is how well he blitzes and how fast he closes on the quarterback. That's a featured trait of his, man. That I know that Dennis Allen type of defensive play caller would definitely feature that. Here's why Eugene Asante, it took me almost 2 months to get him on the show, because I wasn't sure that Eugene Asante was big enough to fit Dennis Allen's defense. He tends to like guys 6'2", 6'3", probably another 20 pounds heavier than him. That's what he typically likes. But I broke down and I was just like, we're getting at the end of this process. Let me get this guy on the show and let's talk about him. But again, man, he's hell of a blitzer, plays in space very well. Speed to the ball that is the major factor. That's what I'm talking about when I say a quick trigger and how fast he gets to the ball, man. That is a standout feature of his. Any defensive coordinator that features cover one, cover zero is when you send everybody and there's only like 3 people in coverage. That's cover zero. When you feature a defense like that and you're going to play that a lot of times to get the offense off the field, then you need speedy guys that can get from A to B really, really fast. And so to me, Eugene Asante is right there on the precipice, talking about size, weight, and those traits about him of being, he's right there on the edge of being exactly what Dennis Allen is looking for. And I do believe 110%, it may not be guys that we draft. In fact, that I think somewhere between 5 and 7, between 5, 6, or 7, they're gonna let Dennis Allen get a linebacker out of there. If they don't do that, it's gonna be a plethora of these guys in the aftermarket. But either way, Dennis Allen's gonna need the linebacker that he prefers. He's playing with a whole bunch of guys that somebody else picked. And not to say that these guys like TJ Edwards, I don't give a damn who the coach is. He can play for you. I'm that positive about him, but who knows how he feels about Tremaine Edmonds and all those guys. But Eugene Asante is one of those guys. I think he's right there at the edge as far as his traits of being a Dennis Allen type of linebacker. The speed, the quickness, the trigger, the field general, all of that, all those attributes about him are really exciting to watch on film. I think you guys will like him. Check him out from Auburn, Eugene Asante, 6'1", 219-pound senior. He's fun to watch. Get to a couple of comments here. Let me see. Visual Joe says, the only reason I'd be open to getting Genty is because coaches always preach a good running game is a quarterback's best friend. There's no arguing that, Visual Joe. That is, I don't care how long football is played. That's going to be a truth. A good running game, a great running game is the best friend of a quarterback. It gives the quarterback time to settle into the game. And he doesn't feel as much pressure on him to make plays all the time. Because if it's all on your quarterback, the defense can construct that. They can kind of tighten down on you when they know it's just going to be the quarterback throwing the ball all over the yard, pitching and catching. They can do stuff to really disrupt that and create problems. If you don't have an established running game, you damn near going to lose that game, because I don't care how good your quarterback is. If they can't turn around and hand that ball off and get and feature 3-4 yards of carry, then we're in trouble. And so you got to have, if you want that running back to be successful, you got to make sure that line is fortified, not only with those first few guys that we just put in there. We got to have the rotation, Vizzo. We got to have the rotation, because it's going to be, there's going to be attrition that happens throughout the whole year. And so you're going to be guys moving from left to right, back and forth, and guys going to be in and out the lineup. All that stuff is going to happen. And so you need to make sure the depth on that line is proper. So to me, that's of the foremost importance. Making sure that not only do you have the right five to play with, that you got the next five behind them or four behind them ready to go. In my opinion, that's what you got to do. They haven't done that in quite some time. And to me, that's our Achilles heel. Getting that established so whoever you put behind Caleb Williams to run that ball can have a chance to get it. And that saves you, man, you can really create off of a solid run game. So I agree with you, Vizzo Joe. Having the right running back there, if it's Genty, that's important. But making sure that line and the guys that are backing up the starters are right. That's, to me, more important than anything. Making sure they got the right guys to back them up too. Let me get to the next comment. What up, AC? Let me see. You talking about Eugene Asante, athletic, speedy. Said he met with all 32 teams at the combine. It can't be a team out there that doesn't like him. And I'm telling you, as soon as you turn on that tape, whether you look at highlights or you're looking at all 22, you're gonna see. You're gonna see. It's hard not to like that guy. What up, King? Let me see. Derek God says, I see a good running back in Genty, but I don't see great. That's why I wouldn't draft him at 10. Here's the thing, man, about Ashton Genty. Like, some of the stuff I see on film, you can't really deny some of the things. Consistently playing against great players, you never know until he gets to the next level. You just don't know. Nobody knows. He's played, and you playing Portland State, Hawaii, and then you jump out of nowhere and play Oregon. That tells you can see some stuff. Like, does he rise to the level when he plays against Oregon? Yeah, you've seen him rise to the level. He played well against them. But when you see him, you're going to see Oregon and better type of defenses every single week. To me, the weakness on Oregon was the defensive front. Everything else was okay. They had some good pieces along the front, but that wasn't cohesive. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Genty, but I need to see more. Like, if that guy was playing at Georgia right now and doing all that, man, he'd be a surefire, probably number one pick. But a lot of teams are going to look at him and be like, okay, not only did he not play against the best competition all the time, but, they did put a lot of mileage on him too. That guy got a lot of carries down there at Boise State. A lot of them. But, I still think he's a real deal. I just don't think at 10 is where to be, for me. Let me see. Ron C says that's why we need a left tackle in the first round and a guard in the third. We got to get qualified. We got to get another book in, and we need to get some qualified guys to back them up. We haven't done enough. And once they do that, we still have who is it? What's that guy's name? Bill Murray. I don't know if they re-signed Matt Pryor, but we got a couple of guys in there, guy by the name of Glasser. He's still on the team. It just ain't good enough for me. I think we definitely need that depth. Yes, sir, Ron C. All right, let's get to the next guy. Wide receiver Tory Horton out of Colorado State. Listen, 6'3", 185-pound senior. I call him Slim Pickens. He's a smooth route runner and really good after the catch. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of a taller Darnell Mooney. Every bit of his body movements, the way he runs routes, the way he can break down on a dime, man, it's really good and fluid. He's more of I would say, I'm not going to say he can't be a slot receiver. I'm not going to say that. I'm saying that the more he got his most work at X or Z. So on the outside, perimeter route runner. I'm saying I'm going to tell you that I think his game and his route running is clean enough to where I think it transfers over to it. You can have a big slot. You can very well have a big slot. He's a fluid route runner, really good at getting open. He's kind of slippery too. And so you need that aspect of your game. You need to be able to sit down in zones and be comfortable with taking a shot. Now, one thing you will notice about Tory Horton, I wouldn't say he avoids, some of the receivers that play certain positions, they don't like the end routes, because they can get smashed up. And so I don't see any shy in his game as far as that goes. But I think he's solid. I think he's going to get drafted in the first. I think he'd be one of the first 10, 15 receivers off the board. Somewhere in that neighborhood, maybe even earlier than that. But I think he's a clean football player. So let me read off a couple of little notes about him. He's a very productive football player. He's had 2 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Started in Nevada before transferring to Colorado State. Very good catch radius, too. I had to make sure I mention that, too. He's got a big, huge catch radius, man. Had 6'3", great hands on him, huge catch radius on him. But after the catch is what, to me, is going to stick out about Tory Horton. He's got decent contact balance. But after the catch, he can get to it real fast, man. He can get from 0 to 10 pretty doggone fast. I wouldn't say that he has elite speed, but he's got speed to break and hit the long one on you. You get him a short route, and if it's blocked up right, he can take it to the house. But I like this football player out of Colorado State, Tory Horton, 6'3", 185-pound senior. Man, you guys should check him out. Let me get to a couple of comments here. Let me see. Derek God says, we need a fat boy at D tackle to help stop the run. Did you hear that my boy, the guy we put on the board 4 weeks ago, maybe, Jamari Caldwell, we had just did the show that week. Jamari Caldwell is a nose tackle out of Oregon. And I profiled him the week before that news came out that they had him at a combine interview. And so we've been doing a job over here trying to identify the needs on the team. And that was definitely it's not hard to tell that we needed some big boys in the middle, man. We lacked that sorely after Andrew Billings went down. That was obvious, man. It was very obvious. So I had to take a strong look at some of those guys, man. I'm still looking at some of those guys, as a matter of fact. But we definitely need that, Derek. He said that, AC said, that's my dog. You talking about Tory Horton? Let me see. Ron C says, Nomad. He said, what round do you see Ty Robinson getting drafted? Everyone is sleeping on him. You know what? I think the fan base and the people that do podcasts and do sports media are sleeping on him. But I don't think they sleep on him in the boardrooms and in the NFL offices. You can't be. You cannot be. Where he might be drafted, I think those tackles most of those tackles it's gonna be a run on them. I would say late second round, early third round. That's when I think the tackles are gonna start moving. In my opinion, the D tackles. That's why I think they're gonna start moving. It's gonna be a bunch of offensive linemen, quarterbacks, receivers, and just a couple of skill guys are gonna get off the board early, and then they're gonna get to the meat. To me, the meat and potatoes of the draft happens after the first round anyway. To me, after the first round, somewhere in that middle of that second round, and to me, that's when the draft starts. And so it's anywhere in that middle of the second, I can see that guy coming off the board because I think they're going to be rating him way higher than we on the outside that give him credit for what he deserves are giving him. We're going to show him nothing but respect over here because I think he's one of the top guys there. But how other podcasters treat him, I don't know, man. I'm looking at the tape for what it's worth for me, and I see nothing but dog, nothing but dog, straight up, Ron C. What up, D? D Rocket Dream Burns. What's going on? Talking about we need Dion from Kentucky. Big Dion, what's his name? Dion Walker. Man, you don't want to get me talking about him, man, because I think he's a beast. But like, hey D, have you checked out? I put a video out in a short on Big Zeke Biggers. Big Zeke Biggers from Georgia Tech. Check that dude out, man. And you think you like Dion Walker. I think if you watch close enough, Dion Walker's a problem. But Zeke Biggers, I think with some polishing up, you get him cleaned up right and get his fundamentals and his techniques right. This dude is Akeem Hicks all over again. But just check him out. I'm not trying to take nothing away from Dion. I like the player too. But after I seen Zeke Biggers, I'm telling you, I start feeling different, man. Just saying. Check out Zeke Biggers from Georgia Tech, man. Let me know what you think in the comment section, bro. Let me see. Vic says he likes Alfred Collins. I like that mug too, man. Huge, great at run stuffing, high tackler. I like better than all of them, and I hate to classify him as a nose tackle because I think he's more than that. That's Jordan Phillips out of Maryland. That's my number one dude. If you want to get a run plugger, somebody that's going to be versatile and going to get you some 3-tech, I think he's going to be the man in a couple of years. Just he needs to get polished up. He's very raw, and he doesn't know what he doesn't know. He's just winning off pure athleticism right now and just power. But Jordan Phillips is, to me, the creme de la creme. If you're talking about taking a piece of, unvarnished jewel, that's a guy, man. You just got to chip the rough edges off of. To me, he's the one. And I'll stand by that. Jordan Phillips is that dude. What up, Doc Earl? Just busted up in this piece. Having fun in here, chatting it up with the fam, man. Yes, sir. Check him out, D. Check him out. You can go right to the YouTube channel. You can see Big Zeke Biggers in a short. If you want to just look at that, that's good for you. He said, Big Dion Walker reminded him of Ted Washington. He is. He does kind of. I don't know. Ted might have been wider than him. Yep. Phillips has that wrestling background, Vic. Yes. Only 20 years old. Huge upside. Chris House thinks Poe's going to lead this draft with a safety. We kind of need one, but could hold back until next draft. I would not be. I know for sure. I would just say this, Chris. I know for sure we're going to get a safety or two. It might not be. I'd say they're going to draft one somewhere, but I know for sure there's going to be a safety or two that comes out of the UDFA market. For sure. For sure. If nothing else happens, they're going to get a couple of them out of the UDFA market. They're too good, man. These safeties are way too good. Way too good. You cannot come out of this draft, even if it's aftermarket, and not have a safety. You can't. These guys are way too good. I've done a plethora of safeties on this show. Just check it out, though. Let me see. Ron C says, I can see us getting Kenneth Grant out of Michigan in round 1 if we don't go left tackle. You know, the guy that really intrigues me and is always there, and, as much as I like Jordan Phillips, that doesn't mean that they're going to get Jordan Phillips at 10. I think it's less than likely that they draft Jordan Phillips at 10 because they think he'll fall to him in the middle round somewhere. But Tyreek Williams is probably the most complete and the most ready of the whole bunch. Tyreek Williams is an NFL starting defensive tackle now, and he's just playing in college. He's got everything: hands, feet, balance, power, and a bag. And he's got a motor. He's complete. He's very, very complete. He's very impressive, man. Tyreek Williams, like Kenneth Grant, probably between he and Jordan Phillips, probably have more upside than any two D tackles in the draft. You only think you can't even see a ceiling with those two guys. But you're talking about a guy that's ready to play and dominate day one. I think I have to give the edge to Tyreek Williams. As much as I like Kenneth Grant, he's a freak of nature, man. He's straight up freaking. You shouldn't be that big, that quick, that nimble at that size. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. What you can do with that, you got to definitely have the right guy to polish that up and kind of frame it up the way it needs to be. But he got a ton of upside for sure. Let me see. Dr. Earl says we do need another Hicks. Hicks really improved, man. I was impressed by him this year. Before he got hurt, I was really impressed by him. Yes, sir, Vic. Phillips can be a Bear for the next 10 years or more. Let me see. Vic ain't totally sold on Tyreek. He take Grant. I ain't mad at you, man. I ain't mad at you. I'm not the only one that look at tape. I know that. That's just the way I see it. It's just my opinion. All right, let's get to another guy. Hold on. I got to get my mouse right. My mouse went to sleep on me. Got a couple of edge rushers in here tonight. Fadil Diggs out of Syracuse, 6'5", 261-pound senior, right there right there on Dennis Allen's menu. If there's guys that's going to fit that billing of what Dennis Allen likes, Fadil Diggs is definitely one of those guys. Very long arms and powerful. I mean, the arms and the hand strength is really exceptional in my opinion. He's a very productive pass rusher too, he can drop back in coverage too. That was another feature of Fadil Diggs that I thought was surprising. He's very, very fluid, moving around side to side, left and right, dropping back. It was a surprise to see, but then again, not so much because Syracuse runs so much zone coverages. But him having that feature, in Dennis Allen's offense, probably won't get asked to do that much at all. You know what I mean? They don't, once in a while, like I was looking at just not even a few days ago, looking at the 2024 film and Dennis Allen's defense. I even saw Chase Young drop back in coverage a couple of times. And so they do it from time to time just to, throw the offense for a loop a little bit and, drop a guy back into a flat, get him into a little cloud coverage to help out a little bit just to, throw the quarterback off of his first read or something. You'll see that happen. But Fadil Diggs, let me give you a little bit about his attributes and talk about his productions. Transferred from Texas A&M to Syracuse, where he really began to develop once he got to Syracuse. Something about the scheme, and it's probably more about playing time. Texas A&M is gonna every year they're gonna be chock full of stud football players, and sometimes those guys get to a big school like that, and they don't see themselves getting as much rotation as they thought they might. The good thing to do is to go to another school where you're gonna get on the field. So to me, I think that's what he did. Racked up a total of 120 tackles, 32 for loss. Circle that, 15.5 sacks in total since he's been there. He's only been there a little bit. And so Fadil, I'll say this again, racked up 120 total tackles, 32 tackles for loss. That should tell you something. You got 32 tackles for loss. That should tell you a whole lot about his burst and his ability to be able to, make plays on the ball. That should tell you a whole lot. And 15.5 sacks since he's been there. Has only been a couple of years. He's had a productive career since he's been at Syracuse, and it turned out to be the right thing to do. Fadil Diggs is definitely one of those guys that, he is definitely on the board in Hallis Hall. It's about where they, predict he might be, and if they're going to get another edge rusher, where. He's definitely one of those guys on the board. How high he's ranked, I don't know, but he definitely fits the trait and fits the mold. And those long arms of his, man, and and he's so twitchy. It's like the his pass rushing ability, I think, is above average for any player in his class. And there's a few above average pass rushers in this class, and he fits in that category. He's very productive at getting after the quarterback. Very, very productive. So check this guy out. This is Fadil Diggs out of Syracuse, 6'5", 261-pound senior. He's worth checking out. Let's see. Let me see. Yes, sir. Their guy says he said the exact right thing. He's living in the backfield with all those tackles for loss. That's exactly what you want to take away from when somebody has that many tackles for loss. That's exactly what you want. He's winning at the point of attack very, very often, and he's making a play on the ball. That's exactly what should stick out to you. Exactly right there. Vic Perez says, has long arms, great motor, and can run and offender down. Violent pass rusher, but does need development. Absolutely. Every last one of these guys from the first pick on, every single one of these guys need development. No question about it. Yeah, he can definitely clean up some of the stuff. One thing I didn't mention about him is how well he disengages when he's in contact. When he sees if he's rushing with patience and rushing with some discipline, getting up the field but watching the play at the same time, when he's ready to disengage from that tackle on him, he does it very, very fluently. His handwork is really good, man. He gets that guy off him, and boom, he's off to the pursuit of the quarterback. That's one thing I forgot to mention while featuring, but thank you, Vic, man. That's a good way to describe him too, man. All right, let's get to another guy. On these edge rushers, Ahmed Hassanein out of Boise State. You talking about production. This dude is very, very productive. 6'3", 272-pound senior. I do believe he was at the Senior Bowl. I was in the middle of doing all this study work on trying to get these players together, get them categorized, and trying to make sure that we can do these shows and do them right. While the Senior Bowl was going on, Senior Bowl practices, I was able to peek in once in a while and check some guys out. I didn't even realize Ahmed was there, but apparently he was at the Senior Bowl. Or it was either Senior Bowl or at the Combine, one of the two. I can't remember which, but I know I heard about him. But anyway, 6'3", 272-pound out of Boise State. Man, this guy never played a down of football until 2019. Think about that. Never played a down of football. And I'm gonna give you guys some stats and some numbers too. So I want you guys to let this set in your head for a minute. Never played a down of football until 2019. Firm, powerful edge setter against the run. I mean, that's a feature of his that really sticks out. Why he would be on the board for Dennis Allen as a featured guy is because of that. Firm, powerful edge setter. He knows that's going to get him to the next level. And so you need to be able to be firm and powerful at stopping that run and making sure nothing gets outside of you and you can crash down on that offensive line. You earn the right to rush the pass. You can see that clearly. That's been dictated to him. You can tell by the way he plays. Very productive. So let me read some numbers. Again, he didn't start playing ball until 2019. Had a breakout season in 2023 with 12.5 sacks. Had a 9-game sack streak while at Boise. Finished his career with 8.5 with the 8.5 sack season. That's this year. And 13 tackles for loss. So that's not bad. 13 tackles for loss is about half of what Fadil Diggs did, but that's pretty good too. So he's also living in the backfield somewhat. You see it time and time again watching his film. He's always in the backfield. Does he always make the play? No, but often he does. So again, talking about these edge rushers, people get wrapped up into how many sacks does he have. That's a great thing to point out and to circle, but the other aspects of the game is how he's affecting the quarterback, how he's affecting the run game, how he's setting the edge, and is he winning at the line of scrimmage? Those kinds of things, you're going to get the sack once in a while. But more time than not, you need to play the rest of the game. You need to be strong in the edge. Set the tone on the edge. So Ahmed Hassanein, I have nothing but good things to say. And if this guy just started playing football in 2019, what is this guy's ceiling? What is Ahmed Hassani's ceiling if he just started playing football in 2019 and had this kind of production? What is his ceiling? Boise State, I'll listen to the people that will say, all right, he didn't play against good enough competition on a regular basis. Point taken. Point taken. But I got a strong feeling about this football player. He's going to get on the team, and he's going to have to fight his way to get on the field. Don't know when or where he might get drafted, but once he gets there, I think he's going to make a name for himself. So check him out. Ahmed Hassanein, 6'3", 272-pound senior out of Boise State, man. I think he's worth the watch. Get into the comments. What up, Paul? Paul just busted up in this piece. Let me see. Yeah, Derek, he's talking about development. Derek's talking about development, man. I cannot wait. Some of the best things that happen when it comes to football players, you guys, we'll never get to see because it's happening in practice all the time. It's happening around the training facility all the time. Little things, the extra workouts, the time spent away from the facility. You on the phone with one of your position coaches, and you got questions about something in your playbook or what you did in practice today, man. You was on me today about not, standing up when I'm getting out of my back pedal and transitioning. Tell me what I can do to sit down better. Do I need to lead with my other foot? Do I need to put my left foot in front of my right foot? Little things that you do with your position coaches when you're away from the facility. All that shit's magic. All that's part of the sauce that makes up that player. And so the communication has to be right. And you got to be, as a coach, and I was just lucky when I was in school, I had the kind of position coaches that were, open to me at all hours of the day and night. I'd call them, I'd be coming from the club drunk. I'd be like, dog, in the morning before we come to the facility, I'm going to start working on this and that. He's like, it's like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, right? I'm like, man, I need to know because I'm going to get right on up out the bed and start working on it on my own. Get cussed out a little bit when they see me, but it's worth it. But yeah, man, all the stuff, the development it's going to be so many different phases to it, so many different levels to that development. And most of it's going to happen on the field and in the training room, but a lot of it's going to happen away from it when they're sitting around looking at their practice film and listen to a coach cuss them out about why can't you get this right. So that's part of the development that happens too. Just had to throw that out there. All right, let's get to another guy. Linebacker, Justin Whiteside, 6 foot, 220-pound senior out of Central Michigan. He's from Flossmoor, Illinois. For those who don't know what Flossmoor, it's south suburb of Chicago. Played some good football down there, man. We played a lot of those guys when I was in school. A lot of those teams from over there. Lots of them. And they year in and year out produce great football players, and they all over the country right now. But Justin Whiteside out of Central Michigan, he's a linebacker. He doesn't have stats that jump out at you. He only had approximately 120 tackles in total. It says a lot about his 120 tackles in total for the season. So let me make sure I said that right. He had 120 tackles total for the season. And that says a lot about this football player. So when I'm looking at some of these guys and the stats aren't jumping out at me, but when I turn on the film and I look at these guys, the first thing you got to do is look at the attributes, look at the traits, and look at his play and how it's affecting the game. This guy is all over the place. That guy, Teddy Buchanan, I just did last week, he's a tackling machine and he's always at the ball. Justin Whiteside's the same kind of player. Same kind of player. A little bit undersized as far as height goes, but has the weight right there in the, Dennis Allen would probably prefer another 10, 15 pounds on that guy. But I'm telling you, the field play is outstanding. The field play is outstanding. You can find one of these really good linebackers from anywhere in the country. They're all over the place. And I think this guy has some really, really high traits. When you go looking for him and you look at the stat box, don't expect to see anything special out of Justin Whiteside. None of that stuff's going to pop out to you. Just look at the tape and look at the traits, the attributes, how he affects the game, how consistent he is. Does he get to his spots on time? Does he take good angles? Does he drop back in coverage with the right leverage? All these things are important. All these things are important. The flash plays, it's great when you can get interceptions or you can get, tackles for loss and you can get strip fumbles and all that, block passes and things like that. But look at the attributes, you guys. Look at the attributes. Do you see what you see on film translating to the next level in Dennis Allen's defense in particular? That's what I would encourage you guys to do when you look at Justin Whiteside. Look at what he brings to the table. Look at his traits. And look at what Dennis Allen does. Just see if you can picture him in that system, whether it's a Sam linebacker or a Will linebacker. You have to be versatile that way in this defense. That's for sure. But Justin Whiteside has some strong upper level traits. I would just say, probably not going to get drafted, probably going to be a UDFA, but when it's about getting the right kinds of linebackers in the building with the right kind of temperament, plays smart, plays the right leverage and angles, he definitely fits that category. He checked all the boxes for me. Justin Whiteside, I think, is one of those guys. If you're going to target a linebacker in the UDFA market, this is one of the guys to look at. And I think that's just as important as the draft to me. So one more time, Justin Whiteside out of Central Michigan, 6 foot, 220 pound senior from Flossmoor, Illinois, by the way. Check my boy out, man. I think y'all like him. Get to another couple of comments here. Oh, man, y'all please get the likes up, man. We only got 11 likes. It's 60 people in the chat, and I'm here by myself. Come on, y'all. We can do better than that, man. Let's get up to 30 likes, man. At least get half the people here that's watching the show. Hit that like button for us, man. 60 people in here and moving up. Please. What up, Dobbsy? Dobbsy, you asked me something the other day in the comment section. I can't remember what it was, or yesterday or today. Derek Guy asked, does you talking about Justin Whiteside? Yeah, he can move. He's sideline to sideline. He definitely has sideline to sideline speed. Is he going to be one of those guys that runs a 4.5? I don't know about that. But he's got that play speed. That play speed is definitely there. For sure. Let me get to another guy. Moving on down this list. Oh, you guys are going to love this cat right here. This is Xavier Carlton out of Cal. And so let me just read what's on the page. He's 6'6", 275 pounds. Of course, he's a Dennis Allen type of edge rusher. He fits the bill perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. And he's got production. So he's got impressive. You can look at the graphic and see how impressive his size is. Impressive power and size. Versatile, can play both any role, multiple roles in a 4-3 defense. Edge prototype. In a 4-3, he's an edge prototype. This is exactly the type of football player that Dennis Allen would prefer. Exact traits that he likes. And matter of fact, he checks all the boxes when you look at the tape too. Let me read some information here. So he's a transfer from out of Utah, had a big senior season, kind of saved his best for last at Cal, finishing 47 tackles. I think they were solo tackles. No, 47 tackles total, 21 solo, and 9 sacks. Very disruptive. Yeah, those are the things that stuck out about his stats. The fact that he's constantly making tackles, constantly making plays on the ball. I think his assists, and I forgot to write that stat down, but you're looking at box stats. One thing to pay attention to sometimes, well, most of the time when it comes to a defender, is how many assists does he have? What does that assist mean? That means he's always at the ball. If you're there, if you're assisting on a tackle, you're always there making plays. Very, very disruptive. His power is at times overwhelming. Great upper body strength. I mean, upper body strength is superior to a lot of edge rushers in this draft. You can look at the graphic and see that. Lower body strength is above average too. But that upper body strength is real, man. He's just gonna bull rush the mess out of people, slap your arms off of him. He's just gonna win because he's stronger than you and more powerful and quicker than you. So the speed is there, the sideline speed. You see the pursuit to the ball. Very, very, he's very quick and fast. So you add both of those up, you got a nice little combo Where he might get drafted is anybody's guess. But I do think this guy is going to come off the board. If he doesn't, I think it'll be a huge, huge surprise to me. I think Xavier Carlton's got everything any 4-3 base defensive coordinator would want and some. And so he's a sneaky steal somewhere in the middle to late rounds of the draft somewhere. Somebody's going to have them a player that can do both set that edge and rush the passer. He's got equal production in that regard. So you watch him play and you don't really like you. Good luck trying to find something to discredit him about. He's got a motor too. Hell of a motor. So he's got it. To me, he's got it all. He's just not being discussed by anybody out here because we focused on, so the same bucket of players. But holy crap, Xavier Carlton is going to be a treat to watch, you guys. 6'6", 275 pounds senior out of Cal. Man, I'm just going to say, turn on the tape, man. That's all I'm going to say. Get to some comments. Came Madrano. You know what? He came, I think he visited with them at the, I think he visited with the scouts and posed them down at the combine. But somehow, MC Fact, I got a feeling that was a ploy to get to the linebacker, the other linebacker, number 49. I can't think of his name right now, but I featured him on one of our first few shows. I can't think of it, but he's a better linebacker than me. Yes, sir. That's a huge edge. And he's versatile too, Derek. He can line up anywhere along that line and get you production. Let me see, Dobbsy. Oh, yeah. That's probably what it was, Dobbsy. You was asking me about the Swifty episode he was on. For those who follow Swifty and like his stuff, he was here last Sunday on Nomad at Night. If y'all want to check that out, man, you go check that out, man. We had a great time doing that. Like 2 or 3 hours just went by in a blur. Because we were just having a good time doing that. We're going to have to definitely hook up and do that again, man. I really enjoyed, kind of connecting with him again. Man, it was a good time, and hopefully we're going to do some more of that moving forward. Justin Whiteside's 40 time is 5.0. You know what, MC Fact, I don't pay attention to a whole lot of that. Like, when you see him on the field, just tell me, does he have the play speed he needs? To me. I believe, I don't know that somebody told me Lance Briggs didn't run that fast of a 40. I don't know, but I don't pay attention to it. I knew there was dudes on my team that ran 4.8s, 4.9s at linebackers, but you couldn't tell on the field. You couldn't tell on the field, man. Sometimes those 40s are misleading. Just check him out. Cam Madrano has got 4.6 speed. Didn't know that. What up, Ant? All right, let's get to another guy. Moving on down. Check this dude out right here. There's a reason why people tell you that this is a good running back draft, because that's from the first round to the last round to probably the UDFA market where Kelly Joyner could find himself. This is Kelly Joyner, 5'9", 195-pound senior out of South Florida. Let me tell you something. Okay? Let me just read what's on the side here. Explosive home run hitter. Circle that. Decent receiver. He's reliable as a pass catcher and a serious threat every time he touches the ball. I'm telling you, the speed and the quickness. When I'm talking about the accelerator button, Kelly Joyner has an elite accelerator button. He gets from 0 to 10 and he's up on the safety so freaking fast. When I tell you he sees it and hits it, he's already past your linebackers and on your safety and accelerating past him like that. It is impressive. You talking about, this is going to be a gadget back. This is not going to be the guy you give it to 15, 20, 30 times. No. He's a dual purpose gadget running back when you need to really weaponize your offense and you need a plethora of running backs that can bring different attributes to the table. Kelly Joyner, I'm telling you guys, wait until if you do nothing but turn on his highlights, just turn on something. This guy right here is electricity in a bottle. when he touches the ball. He's a threat to take it to the house every time he touches it. And you need guys like this. So let me read a little bit about his attributes. Again, his stats won't jump out at you. Let me see. He's a 6-year senior who saved his best for last. 2024 saw, let me see, 121 carries with 799 yards, 51 receiving yards, and 12 touchdowns. Finished with a 6.6 yard per touch average. So he's every time he touches it, it looks like when you're watching it on tape, and he's in there getting reps with a bunch of different guys. You know, he's not carrying the load per se at South Florida. He's in there with he's got a nice little mixture in there, and so the production that he got out of that, you know, that running back little trio that they had going on is very productive. Like if he was the featured back, I'm sure we'd be looking at 1,500 yards, 1,800 yards, or something like that, because that production would have doubled. You know, but holy crap, man, you talking about a steal of a running back? Kelly Joyner, man, I am telling you guys right now, is going to be a treat to watch. This dude is a blur accelerator. That's going to be the key feature, you guys. Kelly Joyner's accelerator button. He can accelerate past that first and second wave of the defense, and he's on your third guy, on your last guy, on your free safety before you can blink. You just watch. That's going to stick out to you. Check him out. Kelly Joyner, 5'9", 195-pound senior out of South Florida, is going to be a treat. I guarantee you that. Look at some comments. Joyner's blocking. I tell people this all the time, Amos. I don't care what you see in college. In the NFL level, it's going to be a different animal. Whether you see him chip on edge rushers, you see him chip on a. Most of the time they got him in the game, they're using him as a, you know, he chips off and then boom, he's out on a bubble screen or something like that. That's what you see on tape a lot. Chipping edge rushers and chipping a linebacker and just to set up where he's trying to get the bubble screen kind of lobbed over to him. That's what you see on tape. But forget what you see in college. What you see in college ain't nothing. Can you commit on the next level when there's nothing but, you know, St. Bernard's doing blitzes down the A and B gap on you? Can you commit to stamping in front of them and doing that on a regular basis in a 16, 17 week schedule, 17, 18 weeks now? Now, so whatever I see as a pass blocker in college really don't mean a whole lot to me. I can see people that commit to it and have effort, but to rightfully tell you that I think somebody's a great pass rusher in college, I don't think that's. I don't feel right saying it, because it might be good in college. It might be great in college at it, but let's see what happens on the next level. Let's see. It's just hard to know that. Yeah, he is a little bit bigger than Tariq Cohen, ain't he? That's a great comp, Ron C. I wish I had thought of that myself, but that's the perfect comp for him. That's the perfect comp. A little bit bigger Tariq Cohen. He's got that kind of explosiveness. Kelly Joyner. MC Fact says Kelly Joyner 40 time. The low is 4.2. Yeah, he's a high as 4.5, 4.59. He's in a track race. And when he sees daylight, it's a track race, man. It's a track meet, dude. It's either you got the angle on him or he going to the house. One of the two. And I forgot to mention, this dude has got an elite juke. Lateral agility is elite. I seen him make a few people it's that fluidness to that juke left and right, that lateral agility has got to be so natural. And it was so natural looking at him. That's another feature I forgot to mention while I had the graphic up. Watch that juke, that lateral agility. Oh my God, it's sickening. It's nasty. Straight out nasty. Let's get to another guy. Still got a couple more guys left. This guy right here is Caleb Rogers out of Texas Tech. I told you we're going to get to a couple of Texas Tech. They got some great individual players down there. Caleb Rogers is a right tackle, 6'5", 310-pound senior. He's got the prototypical size to play tackle. Great feet. And the way he mirrors the pass rush, I think is upper level, upper tier. This guy's going to get drafted. No question in my mind he's going to get drafted. And I don't think he lasts past the third or fourth round, as a matter of fact. But Caleb Rogers is one of those tackles that not a lot of people are talking about. Great anchor against the pass rush, physical, and those hands of his. Those hands of his are, I just kept rewinding. One game, I think it was against, I want to say Oklahoma State. Might have been Baylor. It's one of those two teams. It's Oklahoma State or Baylor. I was looking at his film, and I just kept rewinding this. He like 2 plays in a row. He got a hold to an edge rusher, and it's like it's funny because you think about like a kid that's about to get his butt whipped by his mom or dad, and he's trying to struggle to get away from him because he don't want to face that belt, and he's struggling. You seeing him arms flailing, and he's trying to get away from him. He's trying to avoid that butt whooping. That's how it looked on tape. When he latches on, he puts those mitts on you. They struggling to get away from it. It's over. It's over. I like everything about Caleb Rogers. Everything. Question I had is I kept watching him. And for the athleticism, do I see his traits being able to transfer over to at a left tackle? I think he's athletic enough to do it. I really do. Don't have any proof to see him do it. Don't have any. But I can look at his traits and attributes, and I can sense that a guy like this with that kind of athleticism, if they bring him in a camp right away and start giving him left tackle reps, he's going to take to it like a fish to water. He's that athletic and natural. He's just that athletic and natural. Great. Let me read a little bit about him. And I also think he can play guard too. It wouldn't surprise me that a team kicked him inside to play some guard. He's got the nastiness about him, I think, sticks out. And that's pretty much what I wanted to say about him. This is the nastiness about Caleb Rogers is one of the things that sticks out. He's definitely the feature, tone setter on that offensive line. And I think, wherever he goes, he's going to play with that edge to him, man. And I just think the world of this football player. It was enough that I watched his tape 3 times. There's 3 games that I watched 3 times. 3 different games. It was Baylor, Oregon State I watched twice. It was Baylor and Oregon State. Those are the games I watched. I just wanted to see him compete against some of those guys. Oregon State has some better players than you think. So does Baylor. Better players than you think, but very, very competitive little division out there, man. I like the football play out there. It seems to be getting better and better all the time. But this guy is going to get drafted, in my opinion, about the 3rd or 4th round. And what they do with him, whether they switch him over to the left, leave him on the right side, but I can definitely see him kicking inside the guard with ease. This is going to be a blue chip piece for somebody's team. I'm that confident about Caleb Rogers' film. So check him out. Caleb Rogers, 6'5", 310 pounds, senior out of Texas Tech. It's going to be a stud offensive lineman. Where he plays, anybody's guess. What position he plays, that's another guess. But I know you got you a nice piece if you get this guy on your roster. Check him out. Caleb Rogers out of Texas Tech. Checking for comments. Caleb Rogers, MC Fact, helping me out with the stats. Caleb Rogers, wingspan, 78 3/4. Dang. Sturdy and strong at the point of attack with good arm length and heavy hands. Them heavy hands really stick out. MC Fact, straight up. He's helping me out with these. Thank you, man, because I don't be wanting to write all this shit down and type it all out. Caleb Rogers positive. Excels at covering up, pinning, and securing. That is a good feature about him. He does, I was watching one play against Oregon State where they were running a sweep right. And, it was up to the right tackle to get out. So the tight end, it was a tight end lined up in line on that side. So the tight end fired out to the second level to take care of a linebacker that was going to be coming crushing down on that sweep to the right. And so it was up to Caleb Rogers to get out and kind of wall off and pin the edge rusher that was coming down on the play. And after that, it was Taj Brooks up the field for like 35, 45 yards, touchdown. But really good. Like if we're looking for that kind of athletic offensive lineman that can really execute and fluid enough to really get downfield, you can feature that football player to get down and pin those guys on those pin and pull plays. That's the kind of guy you need. And I think that's exactly what I think Ben Johnson is going to want to feature. I think he's got excellent traits to him. But thank you for that, MC Fact. Thank you for that. All right, let's get to another guy. We got a few more left. Let me see. We got exactly. Let me turn on my mouse, making sure I ain't forgetting nobody. I got a few dudes in here. Hold on. Mouse be going to sleep on me. Yep, we got 3 guys back. This guy right here. Let me get to this dude first. Let me get to his teammate, Josh Kelly, slot receiver. Now, this is Josh Kelly, also out of Texas Tech, 5'8", 175-pound senior. Let me read a little bit about his attributes. He's a pure slot receiver. We'll come back to that in just a second. Lots of experience, lots of production, great route runner. I ain't going to say great. I'm going to say good, and I'll get back to that in a minute. And great contact balance. He's got really good contact balance. For a guy that's only 175 pounds, guys seem to really just kind of just fall off of him. And you got to really wrap this guy up and get him on the ground. For some reason, he's got some really good contact balance. That stuck out to me. But what do I mean by I say pure slot receiver? I don't know that I've seen a game that he wasn't playing in the slot. And so why do I want to talk about that? Let me get particular about this, because I think, sometimes, we all see slot receivers in a different way. But an NFL, I would imagine an NFL franchise and that front office, when they're looking at slot receivers, there may be a particular draft when you're looking for a certain kind of slot receiver. Do you want a dynamic weapon that's going to be explosive? Do you want that kind of guy? You can find that kind of guy. Josh Kelly's not that kind of guy. He can make play, run after catch just fine. He does plenty of that. But here's my thing about him. He is such a pure slot receiver. I mean, you're talking about dependable. They run the spread type offense out there and out at Texas Tech. They're kind of known for it. But you need, in order to have that offense function well, you need the slot receiver to be the feature weapon in it. And he was that and some. I love this football player. I was just looking very, very closely at his tape and trying to find if I seen him, sometimes slot receivers, and I got into it with a couple of them on my team when I was in college, because they start alligator arming, passes, really good passes, and they alligator arming because there's heat coming, from the other direction. They'll start short arming it, getting, ducking, kind of that kind of thing, and not being, a dependable receiver. Coaches start knowing that, start noticing that. Not only that, the quarterback does, and they don't want to throw it to you. But you saw nothing of the such with Josh Kelly's game. Nothing of the such. He's a pure slot receiver. In fact, he's much, if you like Xavier Restrepo, this is Xavier Restrepo with a little bit more speed. Lots of production. So let me get to some of his attributes. Hold on. I jumped ahead a little bit. Let me get to his card. And so another 6-year senior had approximately 2,000 yards in 2023 and 2024 with 13 total touchdowns. He averaged about 12 yards per catch, 12 yards per touch in the slot. All of that from the slot. He's getting high production. And when coaches and GMs are looking at this guy on film, again, this might not be a guy that gets drafted. He might not be a guy that gets drafted at all. But when you're looking at, we need a guy that can really get it done. To me, that's what we're missing in the Bears offense. We need a guy that's proven and can get it done day one, stick him in the slot, execute. Go sit down in the zone. Don't be scared to go run into the smoke. You're going to get hit sometimes. We need a guy like that. We just got Olamide Zaccheaus and Devin Duvernay because they saw the weakness on the team. You need guys that are adept route runners that can really take care of zone coverages. You see a lot of, too high safeties and cloud coverages. You need guys that have a lot of experience at producing against those concepts. Josh Kelly is definitely one of those guys. His production, you can't argue with. You cannot argue with. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows how to read coverages. He knows how to negotiate his zone, sit down, and make himself a target and available to a quarterback. He is really good at that. I mean, he's really a pro slot receiver in college. Now, the thing I would say about him that he's definitely going to have to clean up, and I know that it's going to be a quick fix for him. He's going to have to, his route, stemming his routes are going to have to be a little bit cleaner when he gets to the league, because the coverage is going to be a whole lot tighter and he close faster on the ball. but I know he can get away with certain things while he was in college. The minute he hits a NFL field and NFL practice against NFL speed and quickness, he'll see that right away. He'll know that I got to tune my stems up. What does a stem mean? A release is when you're getting off the ball. It's when you're getting off the line of scrimmage and you're making your move and you're getting out into your route. A stem is when you're breaking it down, cutting left, right, doing a curl or whatever it is. That's a stem. So, that's football jargon, man. And so I was just trying to explain that. But check this guy out, Josh Kelly, wide receiver out of Texas Tech, pure slot receiver du jour. Would love to get hands on this guy even after the draft. 5'8", 175 pounds, 6-year senior out of Texas Tech. Check my man out. I can't believe Josh Kelly ran a 4.5, MC Fact. What's good, Marlon? My guy Marlon just busted up in here. All right, we got a couple more dudes to get to before I get up out of here. Let me pull up this guy. You talking about you want a weapon now? You want a weapon? That's the guy you saw on the thumbnail. That is Jamal Pritchette out of South Alabama, 5'8", 175 pounds senior. Dangerous. If you want a gadget player, now that you got Devin Duvernay and you got Olamide Zaccheaus, if you want a gadget guy to go along with him, this is a guy you can probably do a lot of jet sweeps with. I know you can do jet sweeps with him because they did a lot of it with him at South Alabama, but dangerous, shifty, lightning quick, versatile slot weapon with big play capabilities, and he's got a pretty big catch radius for a little guy. I mean, he's got some strong traits to him. Let me read out some information on him. Let me check him out. Very productive in his last season, approximately, let me make sure, 2,000 yards in total. Not in his last 2 seasons, approximately 2,000 yards in total. Total of 17 touchdowns, averaging about 13 yards per touch. That should tell you something. In the last couple of years, he put in 1,000-yard seasons or close to it. I think one year he had, the year before was like 899 or something like that. And then the next year was like 1,000-yard plus season. But, very, very productive. And he's probably right away your best athlete on the field, on offense, right away. And you're going to want to put the ball in his hand a plethora of ways. And so, again, if you want to weaponize the slot position, since you already got Zaccheaus, since you already got Devin Duvernay, these guys are going to be weapons too in different ways. You want to continue to do that. This is a slot receiver you might want to check out. Jamal Pritchette is pretty impressive on film. And also, before I leave his comments, he can bring value too in special teams. He's a returner, punt returner, kick returner. He's dynamic in that way. He's just a threat when he touches the ball each and every time he touches it. Just got to know that about him. That's what's going to show out on film for you. Is wherever he gets the ball, whenever he gets the ball, he's going to be a threat to house that thing every single time. Jamal Pritchette is a surprise sleeper in this draft. He's probably going post-draft in UDFA, but 5'8", 175 pounds out of South Alabama. Think you would like him. Marlon, let me see. Yep, we got one more guy. And this guy's got a story. So let me put this up. This is Penny Boone. So now this is running back Penny Boone. This is a Toledo uniform that he's in. This probably was the best picture I can find of him, but it doesn't matter where. I'm just gonna tell you his little story. So this guy's been somewhere everywhere, frequent flyer. So I don't know exactly where he started off. I want to say he started off at Maryland, but he ended up at Louisville, then Toledo, then to Central Florida. So Central Florida is where he played his last season. Let me see. So Penny Boone, again, at Central Florida, if you've been watching any Central Florida film, or you watched R.J. Harvey, there's an R.J. Harvey down there. I think it's R.J. Harvey. So he's running in the backfield with as a second fiddle, but holy crap, this guy is 6'1", 232 pounds. And this guy, let me just tell you, the brutality that he runs with. You can just look at a guy that big, and he's all lower body too. It's all lower body. You don't want to tackle this. Great contact balance. nice hands. That lower body of his is elite. He's got a Jerome Bettis lower body, and he runs behind those pads so very well. So let me give you a couple of stats on him. It's not that, not all that much, but let me see. This in 2023, he had 194 carries for a total of 1,400 yards. That's pretty good. In 2023, he had 194 carries for 1,400 yards with a 7.2 yard average per touch, 219 receiving yards. So it seems as though doing research on him, he went somewhere and, had competition and couldn't get on the field the way he thought he would, and kept transferring until he found a school that he can get on the field. And when he did, that was at I think it was this was the Toledo season, I believe, when he ran for the 1,400 yards on 194 carries with 7.2 yards per carry average. That's what happened, and he ended up at Central Florida after that. But holy crap, man, this guy's a horse, and you don't even have to draft him. I don't think you have to draft Penny Boone. You looking for big, physical, dominant. Don't nobody want to tackle this guy in the cold, and he's got good agility too. Really good agility for a big man. He doesn't have long speed. He does not have long speed, but he can get you. He can get you where you need to be. Jerome Bettis ain't gonna beat nobody in no track race. Nope. But he ended up in is he in the Hall of Fame? I don't know, but holy crap, man! This is a steal of the draft. This is one of those steals. This is one of those steals that I don't think you even have to draft. All you have to do is prioritize him in the UDFA market. But holy crap, you talking about bringing physicality to your running back room? Penny Boone was a surprise. I'm just like, I was just blown away at a guy this big, this dominant of a runner. I didn't know about. But looking at his history and his track record, you can see, because he moved around so much, nobody, that's just the way it went for his career. He went from Louisville to Maryland to Toledo to Central Florida. He was all over the place. But he did what he had to do to get on the field. Once he got solidified on the field, he put up those 1,400 yards. So this is a quality running back. Pay no attention to where he might or might not get drafted. You talking about bringing a physical component to your running back room? This guy is going to bring that to the table. I don't care how you get him on your team. I don't care if you don't draft him. Get him in your building. Get him in your building, set him up for success, and watch this dude just brutalize dudes. Straight up. Check out Penny Boone out of Central. The tape you want to check out is at Central Florida, but go ahead and check out the Toledo tape too. It looked pretty good. So check him out. Penny Boone out of Central Florida. 6'1", 232-pound senior, man. Absolute ball to watch on film. Enjoyed it. All right, man. That's my last guy, man. We're going to get ready to wrap this up. Y'all got anything y'all want to talk about up in here? Let me see. Yes, we do, D. He says we need some big body receivers. We already have a couple of those. Yes. Yes, sir, Foster. He probably is a UDFA. Somebody could take a flyer on him in 7. So somebody brought him up on the score last week? Wonder who said that. Somebody, this everybody's getting to watch tape, and I'm at the point now, Foster, where I've watched so many football players and dwindled down so much tape, and I'm starting to wind that down a little bit. I don't know. We'll see between now and then. Will I do another show like this one, or will I just itemize and start doing videos individually of these players instead of doing a whole show? I don't know, but my list is starting to dwindle a little bit. We're definitely in the UDFA market territory. We're definitely into I'm probably start profiling some of these smaller school guys, the HBCUs and all those guys that nobody wants to talk about. And so it's still players out there, really good players out there that I haven't profiled and we haven't talked about. But the talent pool, after doing so many guys, is starting to dwindle down a little bit. So I'm just going to rethink my approach on how to do it. But it's still fun looking at these guys. I just want to know who was talking about Penny Boone. Jim Ray DK, we did him 2 weeks ago. Smooth runner. He says the smooth runner, hands catcher. Yeah, he does have 4.3. I was surprised to find that out about him. He ran a 4.3. Very under the radar. We did We did Chimere Dike, I would say 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. I'm pretty sure we did that 2 weeks ago. Yep. But check that out, Cocaine Bear. That was on. I'm trying to think of who was on that thumbnail. I can't think right now, but definitely about 2 weeks ago, Cocaine. Let me see. Foster said he likes this very much, catching all the shorts on each individual. I don't. I'll tell you what, man. Depending on how I'm gonna start researching this again, probably tomorrow afternoon sometime, and start getting another list together. If I can get to, usually I'm about 30, 40 players, and then I pare it down to 15, 20, then down to 10. If I can get 15 players, 20 players I feel strong about, I can get that thing down to 10, we'll do a show. But it's got to be at least 10, 12 players on that thing that I feel real strong about it, and I'll do the show. Man, I appreciate you, Bear. I appreciate you. We do put in work, man. It's a work of love. I want y'all to know that, man. It's not necessarily work for me it ain't work if you're enjoying yourself, man. You know, if you're doing something you love, man. I've been in love with this game since I was old enough to remember. You know, before I even met a girl that I liked, I loved football. It's in my spirit, in my bones. You know, and talking about it and researching it and evaluating players, that's like so much fun to me, man. So I always looked at people on the outside of the Nomad Network. I always looked at it like this. There's always people out there. There's always people out there that lives a lifestyle, or some people that just don't care to be doing all that research. But a lot of people got stuff going on in their lives and not committed to doing all the research and finding out details about these football players. And I come in on that level. I'm glad to do that for everybody. I feel great about doing that. I'm glad I can bring that to the community. And so to take out the middleman, cut the tape, and give it straight to you guys raw after doing the research on them, I'm happy to do that. I'm so elated to do that people will even receive it, because I know it's a bunch of people out there that want to know about these football players. They ain't got time to do it. Got kids, got jobs, got stuff going on. And so here I come to cut the middleman out, and I'll give it right to you. So that's what we come here to do, man. I appreciate you guys for being here for sure. I appreciate you guys too, Derek. Don't even y'all just know the love is reciprocated, man. I love you guys. Just being in here, I could be in here just hanging out talking football with y'all for the next 2-3 hours. Wouldn't be no problem. That's how much I love doing this. Y'all got to understand, you can sense the passion in people when you listen to them. I know you don't get to see me on screen, but never mind that shit. Can you sense the passion? Can you sense the knowledge? And does it come through when I talk? When you go looking at a player after I profile on here, do you see what I'm saying? That's all. That's all. I'm just giving you the information so you check them out for yourself. And so you come to the right place. If you love football and you're passionate about these Chicago Bears, park yourself in the right place, because this is where it's at, man. I'm true blue and orange, man. Straight up. I do this, Bear, I do this all year round. My homeboys don't even know what I'm doing. I'm hiding from everybody. Nobody knows I'm doing this. But I talk to them. What's funny is I talked to these guys like about a year or so ago, when I really started doing the evaluations and really digging into the tape. I knew that I needed to learn some more about offensive line play. So I called my teammates. Up. Some of them played in the league, some of them didn't, but they all know what they're talking about. I call them up. I hit them up. I'm like, look, this is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm trying to do. Tell me what to look for. And they'll give me little tidbits here and there. And I still lean on them to this day. To this day, I still lean on them. But, that was the only part of the game that I didn't feel like I was as good as I needed to be at evaluating, was the offensive line. But I'm starting to feel better and better and better about that. I know I've gotten a whole lot better at it, because I keep filtering everything through them. And it's like, yeah, you on point on that, you on point on that, but check this out too. And so, you gotta, when you're doing stuff like this, you gotta be able to admit there's always going to be some weakness to what you do. And that was clearly my weakness in not knowing the nuanced offensive line stuff. Anything else on the football field, I got it in spades. For sure on defense. For sure. But yeah, that's just me. Tim Ray DK, MC Fact still talking about it. 4-3 speed. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much, Derek, man. And appreciate all you guys, man. This is fun doing this kind of stuff. And I'm getting a little sore throat. Hold on. Let me get something in me. Hold on. It is so much fun doing this. I can do this by myself. I can do this with my boys. Doesn't matter. When you're passionate about it, it's going to come through you. It's definitely going to come through you. So I love this community. I love what we're putting together over here. It's starting to grow. I got an idea. I want you guys to let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Because I'm thinking about if I can find the right partner. Now, don't hold me to this like immediately now. I need to find the right partner to do it. But I'm thinking about doing a daily show I'm not going to say compete with 670 The Score or ESPN 1000. It's not that. I want to give an alternative. I want to give an alternative to those shows. I'm not saying that we're going to do 4 to 6 hour shows, but do something during the day to, have an alternative conversation and make it all Bears. We might once in a while, spill out into a Chicago Bulls conversation, but give me a thumbs up. Kids is doing a gig during the day. He does a gig during the day. So most of the time, Kids ain't available during the day, not now. But, he's available more in the evenings and stuff. And he's bouncing around doing podcasts in other places, getting his name out there, trying to build his channel up too. So I'm just trying to find the right – Kids would be the perfect one to do it with. But unless something happened with his job, he can't commit to that right now. But we'll see what happens moving forward. But I do think it will be a winner if we did it. If I could find the right person to do it, it would definitely be a winner. But that's something that I wouldn't want to do on my own because you get tired of talking. You just get tired of talking. But, yeah, you definitely need people to do something like that. And I believe something like that will grow, like wildfire too, especially if we do it over here. I really do. Their guy says Swifty or Adam Mason. I don't know, man. I talked to Swifty a little bit. I'll talk to him a little bit more. Adam Mason, I think he's got other stuff going on. Let me see. Bears Cocaine Bear said he does bathroom remodeling all day. It's awesome to get some Bears content after hours. I know it, man. That's, when Chris, you might not, I don't know if you've been here along with the channel this long, but we used to have a producer by the name of Chris Washington. And, he was a super producer. He produced all the graphics, all the videos, and he passed away not long ago. And I miss my boy, man. I miss my boy, but we used to have conversations about how to, I used to give him, bounce ideas off him on how to move the channel, how to do this, how to do that. And we started having conversations like when we first debuted the podcast, we did it at 8 p.m. Central on a Sunday night. It was a Nomad at Night. Never forget that show. Aldo Gandia from the Barroom was on it. Herb Howard was on it. And it was a great show. And that gave me the positive reinforcement that I needed, that we had something and we had a voice out here that was, people would gravitate to. And we just went from there. But it became obvious that, we do some of our best content after 8 p.m. Like that was a honey spot for us. Not to say that we can't and shouldn't do podcasts in the daytime and in the afternoon, but it became pretty clear that in the evenings where that's like the sweet spot for us. You can see it in the analytics too when you look at the YouTube channel. So it's obvious that people really start, really picking up the content watching at probably about 6 o'clock and beyond. Really, that's when the content watching goes up when you look at the analytics. But hey, Derek, you said, "Oh, you want to do some podcasts? Holler at me, man." Hey, look, let me put this on the screen. Let me put this on the screen. Hold on. Where is it at? All you got to do is that right there. Just hit me with an email. Tell me it's you. Tell me it's you. Let me know it's you. And if you're interested in any of you guys, and I'm definitely looking for new personalities, different personalities to do different things with. We got a nice core group of guys. I love doing stuff with Trips and Kids, and we got great chemistry going on. Great chemistry. Those guys, Trips has his own channel, Kids has his own channel, and he bounces around doing different stuff with different podcasters. That's great, man. I support anything that man. That's my brother right there. I support anything he does. But we still need to bring in new talent, man. We need to bring in new people to start getting guys, getting the lineup beefed up a little bit, getting some guys some opportunities. I look forward to doing that too. Bringing people up. There's a lot of people out here in the Bears fan base that want an opportunity to get on one of these shows and really, go back and forth with us. They like the stuff that we do. They love our content, and they want an opportunity to get in here. If you want a part of it, just hit us up, man. Just hit us up. We'll give you a shot, man. We'll talk about it in the green room, and I'll give you the ins and outs of what to do. And Kez will set you up technically, making sure you got your feed right. Ain't no problem, man. We here to do that. We are here to do that. So just let us know. Let us know in the chat. I mean, by email. Yes, sir, man. I miss my brother all the time, Foster. All the time. It's been MC Fact. It's been several months now. It's been like, damn. I don't know, man. It seems like it's been a long time. I don't know exactly how long it's been because time done flew. I don't want to say the wrong. I'm serious too, Derek guy. No, but I don't want to say the wrong time frame because it's been a blur since Chris ain't been here. I don't know. All you gotta do is email me, man. All you gotta do. Let me see. The Illinois Xavier game. Oh, I know I gotta get off this slide. I forgot about that game. Marlon, we need help with everything, man. I need a website. Number one. That's the next thing I gotta do is get this website back up. I ain't gonna tell you the story behind why it's not up. That's a whole nother thing, but there's a story behind that, but we'll leave that alone, man. I ain't messy. So I'm gonna leave that where it is, but we definitely need to get another website up, and I'm willing to assist in that regard and pay somebody a little bit for their time. I ain't gonna say a little bit, whatever you think it's worth, but I will assist you. I'm good with graphics, so I need somebody to help me put that back together because we got merch designs we got to get back out there definitely before this season starts. I want to get it done within the next couple of months, but I definitely need somebody to help me out with designing this website again. I think the way technology is, I was looking at one particular website that helps make it real easy with AI, but I don't know about that thing no more. But there's ways to get this website back up and pretty quickly. If you know somebody that can do that, people that can help out with video editing, do things like that, graphic designs. I'm pretty decent at that now, but I can always use help in all those departments and people that want to do podcasts. You want to be co-host, you want to be, you want to be a part of what we do over here. All of that, all those things are open. Producers on the show, all that stuff is open. Every last one of them. You want to put up the chat, you want to be a moderator, you want to moderate the chat, you want to any of those jobs, all of that stuff is open. Right now, it's just me and Nick right now is on a little siesta because he's going through some things in his life and trying to get his situation in order. So we don't even have a producer. It's just me and Kids pretty much that do everything. I hear you, Derek. Come on now. Come on with it. We need y'all. Let me see. Oh, MC Fact says, what ailment did Chris have? Why did he pass? He had heart problems since the minute I met him. He let me know that. We've had so many serious conversations, but funny ones at the same time. And I was just like, I probably was like, he probably looked at me like another one of his sons or something, because we used to talk every single day about everything. His life, his children and all that kind of stuff. He used to tell me everything, and we used to just talk every single day. And all of a sudden, he didn't answer the phone, and everything changed. Every single thing changed. But I spoke with his daughter, and she told me, it was definitely something heart related, and I'll just leave it there because it gets personal after that, and so you don't want to be putting too much business out in the street. But I definitely I let his daughter know that whatever you need, if I can do something, you let me know. But I had to leave her be. You let when families grieving, you leave that be and let that be until they reach out to you and they need something. You know, they'll let you know. But I miss my brother every day, every single day. But yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciated you guys, man. He was family to me, Derek. He was definitely family, not only to me, but to Chris. I mean, to Samuel, kids, Nick, Trips. We was all brothers, man. And so it's a big loss, man. And we just over here picking up the pieces, doing the best we can with this thing. But that's what we got, man. Y'all gonna get me in my feelings, and I got to get out of here with that. But shout out to Chris Washington and his whole family, his daughter and his couple of sons that he had, his grandchildren. Peace and blessings to them, man. I really respected that, man. But I got to get ready to get out of here, and I want to leave you guys with a little bit of encouragement. If you love football, you love the Chicago Bears, and you just want to see them get better, and you want to see them excel, you want to see them put together the right components to this organization to make them a winner. It's going to take a Herculean effort and a good eye to get us where we need to be. And so what do I mean by that? I mean, we have to be okay with their vision versus what we, whatever our mind can conceive what we want. I think us being patient with them, and I know Ryan Poles has been here 3 years. I know we went through a coach and several offensive coordinators and all that since Ryan Poles has been here. I know everybody isn't good with some of the picks that he's made and some of the moves he's made with money and all this kind of stuff. I know that. I've been a Bears fan just as long as you guys have. I've been going through the same struggle, the same strife, the same ups and downs with them as you guys have. But I insist, and I say for myself, I insist on keeping my glass half full and giving this guy a chance and giving this team a chance. It ain't pretty getting your way to the top. It's ugly. But one thing, us as fans, one thing that we can control is not overreacting. Not overreacting. There is for sure, whatever they decide to do with the 10th pick and beyond, it's going to be a boatload of people that ain't going to like it because it's not going to be the player that they want. But here's what I would ask you guys and challenge you guys to do. Once that thought and feeling, once they make that pick, if they make that pick at all at 10, once that decision is made, find somewhere in you to be okay with where they visualize this thing going. Because I'm trying to tell you, Ryan Poles does nothing in a vacuum. He does nothing in a vacuum. I mean, in a utility closet by himself. He's doing this in conjunction with his team and his staff and those coaches. And so what they come up with collectively is what we will get. Try to visualize, does this player fit in what you see moving forward? That's the best way. That's the best way to keep your glass half full. Is visualize what they might be visualizing inside the building versus what your way of thinking you think the Bears should do. That's the best way to keep good energy about this team. I know it hasn't been good. It hasn't been fun. Matter of fact, last year was probably the worst season I can think of as a Chicago Bears fan that I can remember. It was terrible. It was a dark place, but I'm telling you, you got to go through it in order to get to it. That's what this team is doing. They're going through it in order to get to where they need to be. And it's a process, man. It's just going to be a process. Just hopefully, you guys, we'll be okay with whatever they do. I know I ain't going to be too upset about nothing. Unless they get a punter with the first pick, I'll turn over some tables then. But other than that, I'm going to find a place within myself to be okay with it and try to visualize what they're seeing. That's the best way to have a healthy relationship with your team. Instead of this combative, this ultra, just all that vitriol out there. I just choose not to get in it. I'm going to keep an even keel, keep my glass half full, and enjoy my team and you guys in this community Love y'all to pieces. But I got to leave you guys with these famous words. If you can think it and you can see it, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Do not, and I repeat, do not be a prisoner of your own mind. But with that being said, I am